Ever wondered what makes TV so powerful in Jamaica? Time to find out. Welcome to Global TV Group 358, where television meets innovation. We're not just about shows, we're about shaping society. In Jamaica, TV keeps you informed, connects diverse voices, and supports democracy. Imagine a Jamaica where broadcasters unite, sharing data and collaborating globally. That's us, a unified voice in the TV industry. Did you know TV advertising is still king? It drives website traffic, boosts brand equity, and powers integrated campaigns. Even in an age of digital, TV stands strong, resilient in tough times. Our global TV deck is your treasure trove of insights and data. With charts, graphs, and success stories, it's your guide to impactful TV advertising. Curious to learn more? Visit our website and see how Global TV Group 358 keeps television at the heart of entertainment in Jamaica. Get ready to binge watch the future.
Oh, thy peace, God of my salvation, because the mouth of the sinful and wicked is open. Rastafari. Come with I. Rastaman throw one stone, and it break a bad feeling to all wicked men. Not a people there. Make a man throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Only when man like Marcus Garvey speak, wicked men would I hear. Hear now hear. Instead of that, they only sit aside a rub and cheat, and not first and for make up what I seen to. Make him a throw one stone, and they bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Oh, what a plan! Make him a throw one stone, and they bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. My favorite man, if Rasta make a progressive move, wicked men are red. How they want to see the day them can sell out Rasta and sell it out and sell out Babylon. They give man show one stone, and they bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. They give man show one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. If Rasta make a progressive move, wicked men are red. How they want to see the dead and can sell out Rasta and sell out, I sell out Babylon. Just stop on the Friday. You might throw a stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Oh, what a black thing, man, throw a stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. You have eyes to see, let him see. You have ears to hear, let them hear. What a prophet must say. President Mandela was in prison for 20 odd years. And he leave from the prison and take the seat of the president. Stone one. Big him and show one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Oh, what's a black? Big him and show one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Rastaman show one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men.
There is a worrying silence about Jamar's Ferguson's death. The opposition is silent, the government is silent, and more than all, the people of Jamaica, barring a few vloggers, is silent. Mainstream media is also kind of silent on the matter. For such a grave issue that we are witnessing in front of our eyes, I think there should be a greater concern. There ought to be a greater outrage, but me not see it. Don't see the outrage at all. We will touch on some international topics as well. Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Happy to be back after another wisdom tooth extraction. To my community of party and all my family members, platform moderators, membership holders, viewers, subscribers, commenters, and trolls, good morning. Welcome. Thank you all for joining us this morning. We are on the Justice for Jamar campaign because this disgraceful, life-threatening blunder will take place in our country where people are too, it's kind of too swept under the carpet. It's kind of too been treated as it is just a normal day. That's the sense I'm getting from all our Wagwan. It is just a normal day. Nothing to really shout about. Nothing to be outraged or angry about because it is just a normal day. Morning, everyone, and welcome. How no do? If there was never a reason to call for an end to the so-called United Nations, the American International Organization, the time is now. We will get to that because your Prime Minister, Jamaica, spoke at the United Nations. Though only a limited amount of it I get to see, but our Prime Minister spoke at the United Nations. What did your Prime Minister speak about? I don't know. Maybe you can work it out after you hear him. Debbie Jarvis TV, good morning and welcome. Thank you for joining us. Good morning. Denise Hilton, Sharon Bernard, Joan Pine, Norman Ferguson, Karen Nemard, Arja Robinson, Ladybug, JP. Good morning, Markland Fagan, Lynette Jenkins, Colleen, Violet Watson, Judy Roberts, Miranda Ruddock, Monica Wills, Abinasa Cody. Who else is here? Morning, everyone. Morning. Faye Lines, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Vernon Adams, Barbara Simpson. Good morning. Marcia Thomas. TikTok, everyone, good morning. Miller, Nadine, Derek, Blacker, Cherry, Red, Chucks, Orville, Nicholas, Leo, Courtney. Morning, everyone. Morning and welcome. Now, let me get a few international nonsense out of the way. Maybe a lot of you who are not interested in geopolitics and what happened on the international scene, you wouldn't be too concerned about what happened at the United Nations. Oh, Donald Trump, God Almighty, if there was never a reason to bring an end to the International American Talking Shop, Donald Trump has provided us the reason. He went on a tirade that should have not been witnessed by the public. Barely anything that the guy said was true, but he just went on and on and on. One of the reasons why this thing must come to an end, it serves no purpose. It's about war and peace. And we're living in a world where becoming more warsome than more peaceful. Yeah, Donald Trump tell Europe, so you all are going to hell. But on another international tussle, we all soon from the United Kingdom will be coming home. Because the Donald Trump of England, in the name of Nigel Farage, who his party is picking up a pace because of the cocksucking case Starmer and the bad enough Badenoch of a woman, we look to have or Donald Trump in the next election in the next general election in the United Kingdom. And he is planning to do away with indefinite leave to remain. So Jamaica people wanna have to go fix up and chuck up more and make space because a whole heap of thing Donald Trump has sent home enough. Wait until Nigel Farage get there. So Jamaica have to go up more. That's all we can tell you from now. Jamaica on Africa plan for go up more because a whole heap of people and them pick me go end up back home. I mean, I think them go want to send the parent and left the picnic them. So all you have to do, go up more because many of us will be coming home soon. Just give Nigel Farage the chance. Now, at the United Nations, all our several world leaders or through their foreign ministers are speaking. What I find very funny is that from our Prime Minister's speech, there's a little tiny bit I've seen swanning around on the media. Didn't get to watch the UN thing when he was giving his speech at the UN. But Colombia made their stance clear when it comes to Donald Trump's behavior within the region, especially for the extrajudicial killing of fishermen in the Latin American and Caribbean waters. The president of Namibia spoke on the very same issue of Donald Trump escalation in the region. I have not heard Andrew Holness, the chair of CARICOM, mind you, with any utterance on the escalation within the region by Donald Trump. The extrajudicial killing of fishermen in the region by Donald Trump. Me not hear Andrew Holness make nothing of it, like nothing. What Andrew Holness went to the United Nations to do is to go on and on and on about climate change, as if that is the only thing that is affecting us. Given Andrew Holness is the Prime Minister that leads the environmental agency, NEPA, given it is this Prime Minister that violated or looked aside from the advice given by NEPA, It is this prime minister who pulled 2 cases out of court. Where rivers and streams were contaminated. This is the same prime minister that went in. I couldn't hear him, coming. I want to tell the lie myself. This is the same prime minister that went to the United Nations and don't say bombs may soon start dropping few fishermen them. And I haven't heard the prime minister make an utter about it. Even when you check on AI, most or all of the highlights from Andrew Holness's speech at the UN, it's climate change here, climate change there, climate change this, and climate change that. This is the same prime minister that signed off on an oil exploration deal where the prime minister not done a proper environmental assessment or anything of the sort. This is the same prime minister went into the United Nations, we don't know who for money in tech, making Africa go there and sing climate change, don't know who for money the prime minister take. But all the prime minister could have sing at the UN, climate change.
In Jamaica, the nation is contending with intensifying adverse effects of climate change. Droughts, floods, tropical storms, and hurricanes have already impeded Jamaica's development. 90% of our GDP is generated in close proximity to coastal regions. Robust adaptation measures are not merely preferable, but are imperative. Over the past decade, Jamaica has made steady progress in climate action. Yet, as we know, global climate ambition remains below what is required, and countries like ours must lead with both credibility and innovation. Jamaica's journey with our nationally determined contributions reflect this leadership. Our first NDC focused primarily on the energy sector, targeting up to a 10% reduction in emissions. By 2020, Jamaica became the first Caribbean nation and the 11th globally to submit an updated NDC, increasing our ambition with targets of 25.4% unconditionally and 28% conditionally by 2030. We have also broadened our scope to include forestry and land use change, further strengthening our climate leadership. I am proud to announce that Jamaica submitted its further updated NDC 3.0, which is both comprehensive and realistic and further aligns our ambitions with action. Jamaica's targets are anchored in existing policies and supported by political will. Key highlights of our NDC include a broader push for renewable electricity, energy efficiency in the water sector, and electric vehicle adoption, targeting 12% of private fleets and 16% of public fleets by 2030. Decarbonization in the cement industry by 40 kilotons of CO2, and zero net loss of forests, along with mangroves and seagrass restoration. Excellencies, by 2035, Jamaica aims for emission reductions between 26% and 41.7% compared to 2012 levels, depending on the scale of international support received. Jamaica is producing an implementation plan for NDC 3.0 that...
Never mind. I'm hoping that something is going to come out where Andrew Holness addressed this issue at the UN, because so far what I heard from the highlights, let me check from Andrew Holness's speech, it look like Andrew Holness still catch up with what is going on in the region as yet. The threat coming from Donald Trump or the act of war within the region coming from Donald Trump. If Namibia can come at the UN, can speak about it, all the chair of CARICOM no recognize it yet. So we only hope that Andrew Holness can hurry up and recognize what is going on in the region, because he is still yet to recognize what is going on in the region. Everybody's silence. Everybody is silenced or drawn into their corner when it comes to speaking up against the injustice that took place in Cherry Tree Lane, the brutal extrajudicial killing of Jamar, something which we're all subjected to. Given what we have seen, given the police actions, who went at length to make sure before they commit the crime, they covered their backs. Even after that, they still come out and tell a lie to the public that it was a shootout between them and Jamar. Only that camera evidence provided us a different story and showed us that the police were lying through their teeth on this matter. Leads you to ask the question, how much of these other shootings have the police lied about? We have to ask those questions. In Jamar's case, this is not the first time we are seeing this particular behavior being played out on camera by the Jamaica Constabulary Force. But Mark Golding and the PNP don't recognize that somebody has just lost their child. Andrew Holness and the Jamaica Labour Party have not yet realized a woman child is being murdered by our security forces, not accidentally, deliberately, not something that happened by misadventure, deliberately. Deliberately. How can we believe members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force? Kevin Blake came out. Kevin Blake, though, him write one how much a paragraph, something on the JCF website, what's you call it? On Facebook. But I don't have time to read Kevin Blake whole whimsical story, because what Kevin Blake came out on the defensive. He came out on the defensive because Kevin Blake only came out because some commissioner from some commissioner from Indicom, the assistant commissioner of Indicom, made a suggestion that the senior leadership can speak publicly on fatal shooting that's under investigation. Of course, they can speak on it. We don't expect them to give us the fine detail of the investigation, but in such an instance, what is required of Kevin Blake, Horace Chang, and Andrew Holness is to reassure the nation. Reassure the nation that everything's been done to keep us safe. One, everything is being done to bring the perpetrators to justice. And at least acknowledge the grieving family. Acknowledge what has happened. Acknowledge what has gone wrong. No, it's a wall of silence. But Kevin Blake come out because in the commissioner says something that robs him. And after he went on a rant, let me see which paragraph. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. After he went on a rant in 6 paragraphs about what Indicom said, in the last paragraph, he says, on the fatal police encounter, the Jamaica Constabulary Force view every single police encounter that result in a fatality as deeply unfortunate. I don't see what was unfortunate about something as deliberate as what we saw. In the case of the fatal shooting of the 22-year-old Jamar Ferguson in Cherry Tree Lane, Clarendon, on September 15, the situation is most regrettable. However, the facts of what took place on the day are to be conclusively determined by an independent investigator. The Jamaica Constabulary Force extend their sincere condolences to the family and friend of Mr. Ferguson. That's all, you know. That's all. But it's not because Kevin Blake is acknowledging what happened why Kevin Blake came out. Kevin Blake was robbed in the wrong direction by the Assistant Commissioner of Indicom because his rant started by saying this. The Jamaica Constabulary Force has noted with concern the recent public comment by Assistant Commissioner of Indicom, is it Harnish Campbell, suggesting that it is a perfectly legitimate approach for the Commissioner of Police and senior leadership of the JCF to speak publicly on fatal shooting under investigation in order to reassure communities. Assistant Commissioner is quite correct, Kevin. But that was what robbed Kevin in the wrong direction. I won't waste my time reading Kevin Blake shit spewing this morning. But if you want to read it for yourself, it depends on the JCF Facebook page. One whole bubble of shit stir from Kevin, because if the Assistant Commissioner of Indicom never says something will rub Kevin the other angle, Kevin never will come out. Kevin never see the need to come out. And Kevin not come out, to reassure the Jamaican public. Kevin Blake come out to have a rant at Indicom, assistant commissioner. You see, say nobody not care. You see, say it's just another normal day. And we're not going to get anywhere as a people, and I'll tell you why. The mindset of Jamaicans is the most dangerous thing that is plaguing our island. If you never hear it, let me say it again. The mindset of Jamaicans is the greatest problem and the greatest threat to our island. Sometimes I find it hard to, in circumstances like these, to read what JLP supporting women. Leave the man them outside, because we know man always does. But sometimes it is very depressing when you listen or you read the reaction of women, of mothers on social media when it comes to this particular incident. If you call for Harris Strong or Kevin Blake to give accountability, they go off on a circle about Peter Bunting, Mark Golden, Joel and Silvera. I mean, when are we as a people going to wake up and look at what is important to us rather than how important it is to run behind our politician, protect them, and cover for them? This is not a political issue. This is a national crisis. This is a national crisis, not a political issue. I don't know if the police are Labour or PNP. I don't know if Jamar are Labour or PNP. What I do know is that we're all Jamaicans. And it is a Jamaican being murdered for apparently no reason by the police. More and more we are finding out information. The police never even have any reason to go in yard, but they turn up there. The police didn't have any reason to go to him yard. Hold on. The police had absolutely no reason. His name wasn't on the search warrant. His address wasn't on the search warrant. It leads you to ask the question, were the police paid by one of their criminal operatives to go and take out this young man? Oh, God.
Watchdog group Jamaicans for Justice says, based on what was seen on surveillance footage aired on CVM TV from the operation in Cherry Tree Lane, the Jamaica Constabulary Force has questions to answer.
Because certainly not enough was captured to raise any alarm bells. And then we saw the CVM coverage yesterday evening, and we said we had to make a statement because what that coverage said to us and raised reasonable concerns and questions, which we support the family in raising these questions. On what basis do the police feel it necessary to interfere with the camera that recorded some aspect of that incident? What was the protocol that was followed?
And it really left much to be answered when we saw that interference with the camera. Because the question is, again, was this evidence that the police needed as part of their investigation? Or, as some people have been calling for or raising question, what was it that the police was trying to conceal?
And Michael Jackson says while Jamaicans for Justice welcome the more than 40% reduction in murder rate this year compared to last year, human rights should not be traded in the process.
The questions that citizens must join the family in asking: what were the specific circumstances that led to the use of lethal force against Jamar, especially given his apparent surrender? If the media reports are true that the surveillance cameras were in fact disconnected, why was this done and what steps were taken to preserve other evidence that could clarify the series of events? JFJ, we take this opportunity to reiterate the call for the mandatory use of body cameras, especially in planned and tactical operations, because we want to ensure that there's transparency and accountability. We also call on the Police Commissioner, Dr. Kevin Blake, to give the country an update as to the status of the procurement of the body-worn cameras.
Nobody from the government, nobody from the opposition, they've just all fall silent. But let us look at the crimes carried out in order
no viral video shows
to create them space to murder the young man. They carried out their own tactics. And then after them come back with them come tell we say them end up in a shootout, Jamaica. A shootout. And people in Jamaica still see a need to defend the JCF on this particular matter. When you call for the resignation of Horace Chang or Kevin Blake, people get up in them feelings. Jamaica people don't understand nothing at all when it comes to governance, accountability, responsibility of what even you, the citizen, have to do and should do. Nothing. We just a walk around like dry coconut shell, so and nobody not even use with to make shining brush for floor anymore. So we just a pitch and toss here, there, and every. You know the rolling stone that gathers no mass? It is what the children of Benjamin, the descendant of Benjamin, those of us all Jamaicans have become. That's what we have become. Rolling stone that gathers no mass. We can't even turn up for ourselves again. We want to demonstrate for Palestine. We want to demonstrate for Ukraine. We want to demonstrate for all sorts, George Floyd and everybody else. How different is this from George Floyd, Jamaica? Police brutality, police extrajudicial killing is the same in any country. Don't you think? Wouldn't you agree that police brutality is the same in any country? Why Jamaicans were outraged over George Floyd, but isn't outraged over Jamar Ferguson? You know, sister, we don't have no priority as a people. We are rolling stones. We're not gonna cast our care in this world. Everything just blow go past with some blow go come. This is why Andrew Holness war is about to start in the Caribbean. And Andrew Holness is silent. And not even the media, you know, hear a question Andrew Holness on it. Andrew Holness is the chair of CARICOM. And Donald Trump impose himself upon the region. And not one word from Andrew Holness. Look at the length the police them go to kill the woman child. When docile Jamaican women would still want to come argue with you on Facebook and all sorts about your opinion, or not even your opinion, the blatant facts of what we're seeing in front of us.
This now viral video shows the now deceased Jamar Ferguson opening the door to his dwelling in Cherry Lane, Clarendon, minutes to 3 p.m. Monday, September 15. The concern for relatives is what happened before and or after this apparent surrender that would cause the 22-year-old mixologist to be killed by police. A request to the JSA for the official report on the fatal shooting has gone unanswered. But CCTV footage obtained by CVM News from 2:34 up to 3 p.m. gives us a timeline of the events. The first video was captured at 2:34 p.m. Jamar arrives home from work. His housemate who also works with him confirmed this with CVM News. He's eating a patty and makes his way upstairs to his room. At 2:38 p.m., he takes off his shirt and walks to his room. He stays there until 2:56 p.m. when he sees the police arrive at the gate. He runs with his phone to let them inside. He was home alone. This is where the plot develops. From this video, we know Jamar is outside. 2:57 to 2:58 p.m., police enter and search the entire building. The cameras don't show it, but they force their way into 4 other rooms other than Jamar's. When we visited, we were shown the damage to each door. In fact, this door was badly damaged. No one else was there. Then they turned this camera sideways. But it continues recording on a cloud. They unplugged the internet at 3:31 p.m. But the camera downstairs continued recording before the police disconnected the internet and captured several of the team members walking in and out, stopping and checking behind chairs, conversing with each other, even talking on the phone. In this video alone, we count at least 10 policemen and women in conversation while Jamar is outside. The last video was recorded at 3:31 p.m. The other tenant says the internet was disconnected and his 3 cameras upstairs taken by police. He brought us to the room and showed us what appeared to be bullet holes in the wall where Jamar was reportedly shot. Bloodstains were still present. Indicom has all the footage seen by CVM News and is investigating. The other tenant has since moved out in fear, telling CVM News the police have circled the area every day since the shooting. Residents staged a protest on Saturday demanding answers. Jamar's aunt, who raised him, also wants answers.
It don't take a rocket science to know that you have to have a search warrant. Whose name is on the search warrant?
Giovanni Dennis.
The fact that they hadn't got a search warrant, the fact that his address or name wasn't on the search warrant, that was illegal, and everything that comes after that is also illegal because they have no right to be on the property. The fact that them turn around and kill an unarmed, surrendered man and then come and lied to us that they were shot at. You see the length they go at to commit this murder? So the police is expecting us to believe that either they took him back upstairs so he can pull a gun at them, or while they were doing their thing in the house, Jamar was doing his thing and he made his way upstairs and pull a gun at them. It's important to also know who they called, who they were conversing with that phone call that was made in the house, that police officer phone ought to be seized, or that police officer phone record ought to be sorted through Lime or Digicel. It's important to know who they spoke to at that point, whether they took order from a senior who wasn't on scene, or they were taking order from the hitman that sent them out to do a job. But this was careful and calculated. It's not something of an incident that blew out of proportion. He surrendered on contact with the police immediately. Thereby, there was no more reason to carry out such attack on him. Now, let us ask the police this question. How can we trust your competency when a man who you've raided his house, he met you downstairs, he surrendered? Now, if you think that you're there for a criminal, a gunman, or whatever, if you're doing your job properly and you're going to search the property, which you do not have right because you don't have a search warrant, shouldn't you then place him in handcuff? If you are searching the property of such a so-called dangerous person, shouldn't you place him in handcuff before the start of the search? So if it was a case that your story, Jamaica Constabulary Force, there was any truth in it, operationally you would have failed as well. Because what you have failed to do is to make sure you secure everything that's needed to be secure before you start a search. You come to search the property, but the so-called criminal, the so-called man who was downstairs and get back upstairs and pull a gun at you, that's your story. You never had the police in work that's either. But the plan weren't to go and go to police work. The plan is to go around and throw your bully weight around. Whoever may have ordered you to do the killing, whoever may have paid you to do the killing, and I will not accept instantly that they've been to the wrong house. No, I will not accept that, because to say, if them carry out such, it would be something they would have possibly have under surveillance, or something they have intelligence on. So if they end up a wrong house, that would also be walk backwards policing. What we want to know, who ordered the killing, whether it be a hierarchy who wasn't on the scene, or it was a hitman, some friend of the police, because you know, say, police get paid in Jamaica to do dirty job. You don't see the risk to all of us. You don't see the risk to just about any young man in Jamaica. You think that Jamar is an exception when it comes to this behavior from the Jamaica Constabulary Force. Do you think Jamar is an exception? It is important to know who they called. When they did in the house, I figure out to plug out the internet and all sorts. It's important to know who they called at that point. That is very important to the investigation. Whether the command come from on high in the JCF or the command come from a friend of the police officer or whoever may have ordered a hit job. But nothing what we saw was policing that we should or must accept as a people. Where is the outrage, Jamaica? Why is it that you're waiting until it happens to your son before you stand up and say, enough is enough? This is outrageous. This is unacceptable. This is murder in plain sight. None of us and our children are safe. This is a silencing of the nation. You all don't see that? 2030 are coming up. But I'm not going to read it for you. There's a document that's widely online. You can find it on the United Nations website. The Pact for the Future. The Pact for the Future. Read it for yourself. Andrew Holness will be your prime minister that will be leading all the new implementation going forward. Some of these implementations going forward, or most of them, is not things as the human community and society that are favorable to us. We're moving into a dictatorship world. And they have a duty as we're leaders to make sure they suppress us in order for us to be in fear so we don't push back on the things to come. The document is called the Pact for the Future. It is on the United Nations website. Read it for yourself. Uno and Andrew Holness. We are Nigel Farage. Uno over there, sir, and Donald Trump. Who said? We're all, said Donald Trump, going to hell.
This now viral video shows the now deceased Jamar Ferguson opening the door to his dwelling in Cherry Lane, Clarendon, minutes to 3 p.m. Monday, September 15. The concern for relatives is what happened before and or after this apparent surrender that would cause the 22-year-old mixologist to be killed by police. A request to the JCA for the official report on the fatal shooting has gone unanswered. But CCTV footage obtained by CVM News from 2:34 up to 3 p.m. gives us a timeline of the events. The first video was captured at 2:34 p.m. Jamar arrives home from work. His housemate who also works with him confirmed this with CVM News. He's eating a patty and makes his way upstairs to his room. At 2:38 p.m., he takes off his shirt and walks to his room. He stays there until 2:56 p.m. when he sees the police arrive at the gate. He runs with his phone to let them inside. He was home alone. This is where the plot develops. From this video, we know Jamar is outside. 2:57 to 2:58 p.m. Police enter and search the entire building. The cameras don't show it, but they forced their way into 4 other rooms other than Jamar's. When we visited, we were shown the damage to each door. In fact, this door was badly damaged. No one else was there. Then they turned this camera sideways. But it continues recording on a cloud. They unplugged the internet at 3:31 p.m. But the camera downstairs continued recording before the police disconnected the internet and captured several of the team members walking in and out, stopping and checking behind chairs, conversing with each other, even talking on the phone. In this video alone, we count at least 10 policemen and women in conversation while Jamar is outside. The last video was recorded at 3:31 p.m. The other tenant says the internet was disconnected and his 3 cameras upstairs taken by police. He brought us to the room and showed us what appeared to be bullet holes in the wall where Jamar was reportedly shot. Bloodstains were still present. Indicom has all the footage seen by CVM News and is investigating. The other tenant has since moved out in fear, telling CVM News the police have circled the area every day since the shooting. Residents staged a protest on Saturday demanding answers. Jamar's aunt, who raised him, also wants answers.
It don't take a rocket science to know that you have to have a search warrant. Whose name is on the search warrant?
Giovanni Dennis.
Oh, thy peace, God of my salvation, because the mouth of the sinful and wicked is open. Rastafari. Come with I. Rastaman throw one stone, and it pick a bad feeling to all wicked men. Not a people there. Make a man throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Only when man like Marcus Garvey speak, wicked men would I hear. Hear not hear. Instead of that, they only sit aside and rub and cheat, and not press the poor. Make up what I seen him. Make him a throw one stone, and they bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Oh, what a plan! Make him a throw one stone, and they bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. My favorite man, if Rasta make a progressive move, wicked men are red. How they want to see.
Welcome back. I think we're a nation of silent, mad people, don't you? I think us Jamaicans are a nation of silent, mad people. Now, some of you are saying to us on social media, Andrew killed the man. Andrew a police. Andrew did that. Most of the stupid JLP supporting women ask this question. No, none of us has ever said that. But have you listened to the utterance of the Prime Minister? And do you understand the weight of the Prime Minister's utterances? Do you listen to the words of the Minister of National Security? And do you understand the weight, that those words carry? We are a silent, mad set of people. Because only in Jamaica that we could have witnessed such brutality from the security services, and we have rather gone into silence. That is what gives them the reassurance to continue to do such a thing, because we're not outraged, we're not annoyed, we're not a threat to them. We won't rise up and cause the government, the economy, or the security services problem. It is just another day in the wild, wild west of Jamaica. Just another day. We're silent, mad. In other jurisdiction, people that are out demonstrating, pushing back on the police, rioting if you have to. We've seen it happen in America. We've seen it happen in the United Kingdom. We saw when that young girl died in Grenada, not Grenada, Guyana the other day. We saw how the people turned the place upside down because something happened that outraged their psyche. In a Jamaica, because we are so washed in blood, this saved and sanctified nation who like to call, oh, we're a Christian nation. No, you're a murderous nation is what we must describe ourselves as. We're the world's murder capital. That would we describe ourselves as. It is why we have become so desensitized to issues like these. It is why police who should protect us and our children can turn guns at us, and you'll still have mothers who are digging and scrubbing to find ways to defend the blatant criminality. I don't think we country go forward. I don't think that we country go anywhere with the mindset here. Jamaica's biggest problem is mindset. And not to be the dunceness our problem, you know. And not to be the dunceness per se, because dunceness is something we can treat. You can't treat dunceness. But you see, when you're bad mind and you're reckless and you're evil and you're careless, them something they're hard to treat. Them something they're hard to treat. When you're tribal, them something they're hard to treat. But the children of Jamaica is suffering the consequences of what we adults take with society to. Because one of the things we do as a society, you know, we blame young people for the breakaway or the breakdown in society. Never though have we gone around blaming who teach them how to break a society down. We never get to that point. We always see that it's young people who are the problem. We never look at whose behavior is affecting them. Whose role model are they following? Now, if a gunman now decide to see this here and decide say, boy, may I go at all out war. May I go at all out war with the hold on. May I go at all out war, morning Max Romeo. May I go at all out war with the JCF because when me see ya, no give me no confidence, say for any reason, them are going to do a safe arrest. These things, what we see happen to Jamar, doesn't make the criminal wants to give up crime. Them behavior yeah, make criminal become more hardened. even though we never see the execution on camera. The evidence will come out from these videos was a public execution to put somebody in a fear. To put somebody in a fear. Who were they trying to silence? The community? The community? But there's no outrage in Jamaica. Jamaica people think, oh, we should just wait and hear what the investigators have to say. Fuck the investigators. What the investigators are going to go off is a plethora of lies told to them by the police. Luckily, the video evidence are there to show, because without the video evidence, all we would have had to work on is the repeated lies of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. It was a shootout. We were fired upon. This is the second time we have this exact scenario where they went to a house and the same man who opened the door for them, they murdered those two young men, and straight away they gave a narrative to the media. It was a shootout. How much more evidence do you need not to trust the police? How much more evidence do we need as a country to say, this is not crime fighting? This is not crime fighting. Because when you go around and you kill innocent young men, these are not, we not under the criminal them want to claim so not kill. Well, we don't have no proof, because just like those two stories, Jamar, and I can't remember the name of the other young man. This happened a couple of years ago. Because we don't have no proof, we cannot jump around and say, oh no, kill criminals. Because it's what we make we believe. We make we believe that Jamar was a criminal. The first narrative on put out there, on make the public believe the young man was a criminal. Based on the information coming out now, far from that, how can we then believe in the court of law and even in the court of public opinion, when you tell one lie, your entire story, even if the rest of it are true, fall down? That's how it works in the courts. That's how it works in the court of public opinion as well. If you're found telling lie about one thing, even if the rest of your story is true, the stain of credibility covers over your story because you've already lied. And this is where we cannot believe anything said to us by the Jamaica Constabulary Force, because we have seen over and over where the Jamaica Constabulary Force commit these murders and turn around and lie about it. Look how much young men the Constabulary Force has murdered since the start of this year at the behest of Andrew Holness, Horace Chang, and Kevin Blake. What evidence has been provided to us of the criminality that they claim these young men who they're going around slaughtering? Where's the evidence? How can you convince us, the viewing public, that these young men are criminals? Because given what is unfolding in the Jamar situation, and it's wider and bigger than what we are privy to, what we are privy to, it's much broader than that. The length on go JCF to conceal on behavior in the people them oath should frighten any Jamaicans. This should frighten every Jamaican, but not frighten you for you to go in silent. Frighten you in the way that you become outraged and say we cannot be silent on this matter because it's just a matter until they get to of my doorway. It's just a matter of time before it's my door and my child. That's enough to ask myself in Jamaica. At what point is it going to be your door or your child? Because by the way, how things are going, your child now have to involve in a crime. Even if Jamar is a criminal, even if Jamar is involved in the whole gun operation Galangin, you entered the house, you entered the property, he opened the door for you. There are many of you. So even if there was any struggle or scuffle, you would have had ample opportunity to arrest him and take him in. It is quite clear from him opening the door for you, he was not a risk to you. You then went on to make sure you not only murder him, but you tampered with the evidence. That's the dangerous part of it. You not only murdered him, but you tampered with the evidence because you had a story to tell the people of Jamaica why Jamar lost his life. Because Jamar pulled a gun at you. Jamar fired at you. And then Kevin Blake didn't come out to address any of that. Kevin Blake only came out because Indicom Assistant Commissioner said something that really rubbed Kevin Blake the wrong way. And it's the only reason why we heard from Kevin Blake. Not a word from Andrew Holness or Horace Chang. Not a word from Mark Golden or Peter Bunting. So I know somebody picking it. We are not a people. We are not on edge. We don't want to be reassured. We don't want to know that those who we put in position of power cares about us. This is not an issue of politics. This is an issue that concerns all of us as Jamaicans. And the least the government and the opposition could do is publicly acknowledge and condemn what we know so far. And what we know so far, an innocent man was murdered in his house, not on the street, and a wild shot catch him in a shootout. Police carefully went to his apartment, murdered him, and not only that, but tampered with the scene of the crime. You see how much people figure out prison? All 23, you know. All 23, and if they were taking command from somebody who wasn't on spot, that person also, that person who they phoned while they were in the property, spinning around and looking at ways of concealing or tampering with the evidence. All of these people are guilty of murder.
This now viral video shows the now deceased Jamar Ferguson opening the door to his dwelling in Cherry Lane, Clarendon, minutes to 3 p.m. Monday, September 15. The concern for relatives is what happened before and or after this apparent surrender that would cause the 22-year-old mixologist to be killed by police. A request to the JSA for the official report on the fatal shooting has gone unanswered. But CCTV footage obtained by CVM News from 2:34 up to 3 p.m. gives us a timeline of the events. The first video was captured at 2:34 p.m. Jamar arrives home from work. His housemate who also works with him confirmed this with CVM News. He's eating a patty and makes his way upstairs to his room. At 2:38 p.m., he takes off his shirt and walks to his room. He stays there until 2:56 p.m. when he sees the police arrive at the gate. He runs with his phone to let them inside. He was home alone. This is where the plot develops. From this video, we know Jamar is outside. 2:57 to 2:58 p.m. Police enter and search the entire building. The cameras don't show it, but they force their way into 4 other rooms other than Jamar's. When we visited, we were shown the damage to each door. In fact, this door was badly damaged. No one else was there. Then they turned this camera sideways. But it continues recording on a cloud. They unplugged the internet at 3:31 p.m. But the camera downstairs continued recording before the police disconnected the internet and captured several of the team members walking in and out, stopping and checking behind chairs, conversing with each other, even talking on the phone. In this video alone, we count at least 10 policemen and women in conversation while Jamar is outside. The last video was recorded at 3:31 p.m. The other tenant says the internet was disconnected and his 3 cameras upstairs taken by police. He brought us to the room to each door. In fact, this door was badly damaged. No one else was there. Then they turned this camera sideways. But it continues recording on a cloud. They unplugged the internet at 3:31 p.m. But the camera downstairs continued recording before the police disconnected the internet and captured several of the team members walking in and out, stopping and checking behind chairs, conversing with each other, even talking on the phone. In this video alone, we count at least 10 policemen and women in conversation while Jamar is outside.
This is a very important part of the investigation. There's a whole lot of collusion went on right here. Will we ever find out the truth? Will we ever find the truth out? A whole lot of plotting. Whether this was before they shoot him or after they murdered him, a whole lot of plotting was going on here. And this is an important part of the questioning. The problem is, will we get any truth if there's no audio being recorded from the cameras that were there? And generally, most closed circuit cameras don't pick up audio, then pick up just images. So we don't know if we're ever going to find out what this particular plot was about in the house. Was it before the shooting? Was they plotting how they're going to execute the shooting? Or was this after the murder has been committed? Then they're plotting how to destroy and conceal the evidence. Where you say the man in the white shirt is a senior. So all of these people must go to prison, because we know whatever story, if there's no audio recording, whatever story them are going to come with is going to be a who shot John scenario. We already know that they are lying. So we cannot believe anything that comes from the police side if we do not have a recording.
This now viral video shows the now deceased Jamar Ferguson opening the door to his dwelling in Cherry Lane, Clarendon, minutes to 3 p.m. Monday, September 15. The concern for relatives is what happened before and or after this apparent surrender that would cause the 22-year-old mixologist to be killed by police. A request to the JSA for the official report on the
Jamaicans, when it comes to TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, we take up a lot of traffic. We have a broad presence on social media as a country. Jamaicans and social media as a country have a broad presence. But shame and how we have dealt with this story in the media. Can you see, look like this story is anything to make money off of. So over TikTok, you really see them touch this story. One or few people over TikTok discuss this story. You don't see much of it over Facebook, Instagram, or whatever. Even in the main news, them in some other country, this wouldn't stick in a headline for days. A news story like this would have stuck in the headline for days in many countries. In a Jamaica, it's just a blip. It's just a one written about, and the story closes. But Mecca did something to make money out of. Just like how you say, the drunk them, the hungry belly beggar dog them over TikTok. That's why you see where the Anvars get so much ratings. Because when them come out and them do a reaction video to Anvars losing, them something that when they do reaction video, it run in the TikTok algorithm and a money for them. But this is not the type of content that would generate money for a lot of the money hawks on the social media space. So them now take it and run with it. Whole heap of people want to see a run with the Anvar story where there was no meaning to it other than viewing numbers and money. So when it comes to these life-threatening stories, when it comes to these stories, which is a threat to our life, a threat to our democracy, Jamaicans don't care about these things. Our presence on social media are only felt around fuckery. That's all. The strong presence we have on social media as Jamaicans, when it comes to doing fuckery, if we'd use that social media presence we have in a positive light, you think with governments wouldn't have to listen to us some more, or wouldn't have to tread carefully around us? But them sister, we're more concerned about begging on social media and keeping the numbers. If it's not good for your numbers, you're not going to discuss it. That is where we reach in the social media space. It's a numbers-driven game. It's not a people's game. It's not a community's game. It's a number and money and popularity-driven game. And that's why not even that we're not going to use to our own advantage, because the same police them are going to soon shoot down many Jamaicans who make money on TikTok over hard earner, hard begging on TikTok. Them same police there are going to turn around and shoot on the down for no money. Remember when Ramesh asked him police boy them to beat TJ the behind him what TJ did get? You don't remember that. You don't remember when another vlogger pay police to go Rose Yard, go embarrass her and take picture. You don't remember all those abuse and violation by the state where just anybody can pick up with police them so and order them to act against we? You don't think that's dangerous, do you? You don't think that's anything to be worried about, where if you have enough coins to roll, you can order with police them into action? Who's to say that somebody has not ordered the JCF to go and kill Jamar because they haven't got a search warrant for him or his property, but then just barge in, even though open the door for them and surrender, they still murdered him. And the Jamaican media audience is silent. Social media and mainstream media, you all are silent. Isn't this something that the whole nation should be outraged about? To know that the police can come in our house, come murder we, and fix a story, contaminate and conceal the evidence? You don't think it's worrying? Or you are in such fear that you think silence is the better route? What is it? Is it that you are in such fear that you think silence is the better route? Wait until they kill off all the neighbors' children, they might never get to my child? Is that the route? Be careful where we take this thing, Jamaica. Jamaica, be careful where we're taking this thing. A Jamaica that doesn't stand for anything will fall for anything. A Jamaica that stands for nothing will fall for anything. Be careful where we're going with this silence. 2030 is just around the corner. The rules are going to be more tighter and tighter the more we get to the closer we get to 2030. Governments will seek to use suppressive tactics in order to keep you in your place so that you don't revolt, so that you don't push back. Be careful where you're taking this. You might just be taking it back to the plantation. And me not go back there with you know. And me telling you for now, Jamaicans, before that me jump off that bumbleclad ship, but me not going back in a slavery with you know. So be careful on no silence.
This now viral video shows the now deceased Jamar Ferguson opening the door to his dwelling in Cherry Lane, Clarendon, minutes to 3 p.m. Monday, September 15. The concern for relatives is what happened before and or after this apparent surrender that would cause the 22-year-old mixologist to be killed by police. A request to the JSA for the official report on the fatal shooting has gone unanswered. But CCTV footage obtained by CVM News from 2:34 up to 3 p.m. gives us a timeline of the events. The first video was captured at 2:34 p.m. Jamar arrives home from work. His housemate who also works with him confirmed this with CVM News. He's eating a patty and makes his way upstairs to his room. At 2:38 p.m., he takes off his shirt and walks to his room. He stays there until 2:56 p.m. when he sees the police arrive at the gate. He runs with his phone to let them inside. He was home alone. This is where the plot develops. From this video, we know Jamar is outside. 2:57 to 2:58 p.m., police enter and search the entire building. The cameras don't show it, but they force their way into 4 other rooms other than Jamar's. When we visited, we were shown the damage to each door. In fact, this door was badly damaged. No one else was there. Then they turned this camera sideways. But it continues recording on a cloud. They unplugged the internet at 3:31 p.m. But the camera downstairs continued recording before the police disconnected the internet and captured several of the team members walking in and out, stopping and checking behind chairs, conversing with each other, even talking on the phone. In this video alone, we count at least 10 policemen and women in conversation while Jamar is outside. The last video was recorded at 3:31 p.m. The other tenant says the internet was disconnected and his 3 cameras upstairs taken by police. He brought us to the room and showed us what appeared to be bullet holes in the wall where Jamar was reportedly shot. Bloodstains were still present. Indicom has all the footage seen by CVM News and is investigating. The other tenant has since moved out in fear, telling CVM News the police have circled the area every day since the shooting. Residents staged a protest on Saturday demanding answers. Jamar's aunt, who raised him, also wants answers.
It don't take a rocket science, that you have to have a search warrant. Whose name is on the search warrant?
Giovanni Dennis.
Put the labor rights aside, but we know, say, them generally a hog and dog. Most of we know that already. But the PNP has no respect for us as a people. The PNP has no respect for us as a people. This is not an issue which requires only the Jamaica Labour Party or the governing party to speak. This requires cross-party condemnation. This required cross-party reassurance to the people. That's why we send more people to the parliament on the PNP's bench. Is that even when the government is silent on us, that they represent us and speak up for us and speak to us. PNP don't have no respect. It's not everything. We must come out here, come ball. PNP, PNP. Oh, no, see what I go on. We're tired of that. We're tired of every day. We have to come out, come ask PNP to do the job that we have given them to do. We're tired of coming out here, come be the opposition to Andrew Holness. We're tired. We thought supporting the PNP to have a stronger voice, we were going to hear the stronger voice. We still await. Some might say, but it's early win. Cock crow early in the morning. They don't wait until wait through the day. Cock crows early in the morning. You mean to say them don't see that this is a major issue in the country? Is the PNP saying that this is not a major concern for them? Is the PNP saying that they condone this? Or is the PNP saying that they expect us to believe that they don't condone it? That's why the PNP must speak. That's why they must address us and have respect for us. Because we don't support them to give them power and big pay without we see the jobs what we ask the PNP to do for we, to stand up for we, to hold the government to account. We shouldn't have to point it out to them. We shouldn't have to call them out. Undefeated Rush Wagwan. We shouldn't have to call them out. They see just like us. It's all in the mainstream and social media. They know what is going on. Why nobody not come out, come condemn the brutality of what happened to Jamar? PNP, wanna know see what happened? Eagle, morning, how you do? This is not what we're expecting from the PNP. And this is not what we will tolerate either from the People's National Party. We want them to be hot off of the press with everything. As the thing happens, we want reaction from them. That's what we put them there for. To oppose, to react, to keep us informed, to stand up for us, to lead us where the government failed, PNP. That's why you got more power in the House. More Jamaicans are expecting robust representation from you. And everything we have to come out. This youth dead, this youth been killed from when? And I'll no one come out and condemn what happened. You think that doesn't matter for your voters? You think that doesn't matter for the people of Jamaica? To have politicians who can empathize and sympathize with us rather than politicians living in their bubble? I don't think PNP get it. I don't think PNP really gets it. Of course, Peter Bunting should come out and say something. Horace Chang's silence alone, Peter Bunting should have come out and said something. Peter Bunting should have come out and called on the government to address the issue. but they don't care about us. Peter Bunting don't see a problem with this. Because if Peter Bunting see a problem with this, and the fact that the minister is silenced, the fact that the commissioner is silenced, if in the assistant commissioner never rub him the wrong way, we'd never heard anything from Kevin Blake. Nothing from Horace Chang. Nothing from Andrew Holness. So Peter Bunting and Mark Golding must say we need leadership. We need leadership. That's why we put more power in our PNP hands. That's why we put more power in PNP hands, so PNP can come out and represent us where the government failed to. Come out and put pressure upon the government. The government ought to have condemned this. Or otherwise, the government is standing with the police, or the government is disregarding the crime that we saw took place. Raise your voices, Jamaicans. Read and educate yourself, Jamaicans. The world is going through a transitional phase. And my worst problem is a lot of Jamaicans don't understand what's going on around us. The world is transitioning from one power system to the next. A lot of people around the world knows. How much does Jamaica know though? Or will we just be led blindly by our leaders and we just end up in another calamity again because we have no understanding of what is going on in this world around us? And we have social media and we just use it for literally every, the way Jamaicans big pan social media for fuckery. If we were using social media positive as a people, maybe we children them would not feel so much. Maybe we children them would end up on a different path because they would not follow positive role models than the disgraceful tirade that we have across social media in the name of Jamaican influential influencers. We're a disgrace. That's why police see it normal to just shoot us down and just tell a story and expect that story to run and run, and all of us believe it. But when you have mothers, after what we've seen in public, questioning Jamar's credibility as to whether he was involved in criminal activity or not, all of that becomes irrelevant. Whether he was a gunman, whether he was involved in criminal activities, all of that, based on what we are seeing and learning, all of that is irrelevant. Because if that was the case, the police did not act upon that. If that was the case, that's not what the police acted upon. what they acted upon, they will have to be honest to themselves and to the grieving family of Jamar. But whether the plot started before they got to the house, or they were given an order, you must bring in a dead body today, or it was a hit job, only the police officers can tell us. What we know, though, that was not policing. What we are quite certain of, what took place in that house was not policing. Certainly not. Because if it was about policing, they have failed all the protocols that they should have followed. All. Oi, thank you for being here this morning. Don't understand if it's not a depressing issue for you all at home, especially those of us who live at home, when no say these brute force criminal can barge into your house at any time and do what they want. And if you don't have a camera to tell your story, Jamaica, it is the story of the hunter that normally survives in history book. The story of the hunted gets swept under the bushel or under the blood stain of what the hunter has hunted. And let me end on an international note, starting also I did on the international bullshittery. But to Britain, Canada, France, who has recently recognized the blood-soaked ground of Palestine as the state of Palestine, because barring the blood-soaked ground, I don't really see what you're recognizing. What would be more sensible, though, is to de-recognize the state of Israel. That would have been more sensible. But now that you have both recognized the state of Palestine, and we know that you support them, the state of Israel, with money and weaponry and intelligence, will you now, Britain, Canada, and France, stop providing intelligence to Israel? Stop supporting their military and their economy, as well as the Genocide Convention of the UN Charter? Will you now respect the Genocide Convention and do everything to stop the genocide committed in Palestine, because you say you now recognize the state of Palestine? So are you going to recognize the state of Palestine, but you're still funding Israel to carry out a genocidal campaign? Or even though more and more we see these things escalate, you know that international law has reached its depth. International law no longer has any meaning. But in the spirit of it, though, Britain, will you stop funding Israel's genocide? will you invoke the genocide charter and do all possible to bring the genocide in Palestine to an end? Otherwise, it's just the same old bullshit of a talking shop that you all do. And this is why the UN, the United Nations, must be scrapped. It's a useless talking shop dinner party venue. It's literally no more than that. The Security Council, if we keep it, which I think should be abolished, we must remove the power of veto from the Security Council and use a majority vote system in the Security Council, because the power of veto in the Security Council prevent the organ from operating. Enough of the bullshit of talking shops that does nothing. Anyway, that's my rant to you this morning. Thank you all very much for being here. Lovely to have your support as always. Join us back tonight for the People's Point of View. And if you see anybody from Peter Bunting or Mark Golding's circle, tell them we are still Jamaicans and we are looking for leadership. Thank you. Good morning and good afternoon from Global TV.
Oh, thy peace, God of my salvation, because the mouth of the sinful and wicked is open. Rastafari. Come with I. Rastaman throw one stone and it break a bad feeling to all wicked men. That's a people day. Make a man throw one stone and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Only when man like Marcus Garvey speak, wicked men would I hear. Hear not hear.
Ladybug, it's coming out very well. This one wasn't difficult at all. And the injection lady get injection. It wasn't a bad experience this time.
Make a man throw one stone and they bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Oh, what a plan. Make a man throw one stone and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. My favorite man, if Rasta make a progressive move, wicked men are red. How they want to see the them can sell out Rasta and sell it out. I sell out Babylon. Big man show and stone and they bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Big man show and stone and they bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. If Rasta make a progressive move, wicked men are red. How they want to see the dead can sell out Rasta. I sell out. I sell out Babylon. Yes, stop on the Friday. You might show and stone and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Oh, what a black baby man throw and stone and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. You have eyes to see, let him see. You have ears to hear, let them hear. What a prophet must say. President Mandela was in prison for 20 odd years. And he leave from the prison and take the seat of the president. Stone one, big him and Joe one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Oh, what's a black big him and Joe one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Rastaman Joe one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men.
If you don't like missing out on the latest shows but still enjoy classic hits, then Global TV Group 358 is your perfect match. Global TV Group 358 isn't just another channel, it's your ultimate TV experience. From breaking news to binge-worthy dramas and timeless classics, we've got it all. Our unique blend of original content and global favorites means there's something for everyone. And guess what? With GTVG's seamless streaming, you can watch anywhere, anytime. Plus, our interactive features let you be part of the action. So, whether you're a seasoned binge watcher or a casual viewer, Global TV Group 358 is here to keep you entertained day and night. Don't just watch TV, experience it with Global TV Group 358. Subscribe now and never miss a moment.